Dear listeners, today's story is a deeply moving and inspiring tale set on the quiet outskirts of a bustling city, where dreams struggle to survive and hope is often overlooked. It is the story of a young boy who owns nothing in his pockets, yet carries a wealth of courage, vision, and belief in his heart. This story speaks about the power of thinking big, even when life gives you very little, and how one determined mind can slowly change the fate of an entire village. As Christmas approaches, warmth, kindness, and faith light the path of a boy who refuses to let poverty define his future. Listening to this story will not only support your English listening and speaking practice, but it will also leave you inspired, thoughtful, and emotionally connected to its message. The title of today's story is The Power of Thinking Big, The Boy with Empty Pockets. And now, let us begin. The Power of Thinking Big, The Boy with Empty Pockets. Chapter 1, The Boy at the Edge of the City. At the far edge of the city, where glass buildings stopped shining and broken roads began to sigh, stood a small settlement people rarely noticed. It wasn't fully a village, not quite the city either. It lived in between, forgotten by progress and ignored by promises. That was where Aaron lived. Aaron was 17, tall for his age but thin, with eyes that always looked like they were searching for something beyond what stood in front of him. His pockets were almost always empty, no coins clinking, no folded notes hiding in corners. But his mind was loud, restless, and full. Every morning before sunrise, Aaron would sit on the half-broken boundary wall near the highway. Trucks roared past, carrying goods to places he'd never been. He imagined destinations with names he'd only heard once: Mumbai, Bengaluru, maybe even beyond India. He didn't envy the people inside the trucks. He envied their movement. The villagers often laughed at him. Dreaming again, old Raghav would say, sweeping dust outside his tea stall. Dreams don't fill stomachs, boy. Aaron would smile politely. He never argued. He had learned early that explaining big dreams to small minds only made the silence heavier. December had arrived, and with it, a gentle cold. Christmas lights flickered weakly in a few houses near the church at the edge of the settlement. Most families didn't celebrate Christmas, but they welcomed its warmth, the music, the sweets, the feeling that maybe goodness still visited forgotten places once a year. Aaron's mother stitched clothes for nearby city shops. His father had passed away years ago, leaving behind debts and a house that leaked every monsoon. Poverty wasn't dramatic in Aaron's life. It was quiet, constant, and exhausting. That evening, while helping his mother hang washed clothes, Aaron said softly, "Amma, one day I'll build something here, something that gives people work." She paused, cloth in hand. "Build what?" she asked, tired but curious. "I don't know yet," he admitted, "but I know it won't be small." She smiled sadly. She had seen hope break too many times, but she didn't stop him from dreaming. That was her silent gift. That night, as Christmas carols floated faintly from the church, Aaron lay awake, pockets empty, heart full, and decided that thinking big was the only wealth no one could steal from him. Chapter 2, Empty Pockets, Heavy Laughter. The next weeks were hard. Work was scarce, tempers short, and winter made hunger sharper. Villagers gathered more often near the tea stall, complaining about rising prices and falling luck. Everyone blamed someone: the government, the city, fate. Aaron listened. One afternoon, he spoke up. "What if we stop waiting?" he asked carefully. "What if we start something ourselves?" Laughter erupted. With what money? With what education? With what support? Raghav snorted. "Look at your pockets first, boy." Aaron looked down, then back up. "Yes," he said calmly. "They're empty. That's exactly why I'm not afraid to lose anything." That sentence stayed with a few people, though they wouldn't admit it. Aaron began small. He noticed that trucks often stopped nearby but never stayed long because there was no proper rest spot. No clean water, no food worth buying. The villagers had skills, cooking, carpentry, stitching, but no coordination. So Aaron went door to door. He didn't ask for money. He asked for belief. Just try for 1 week, he told them. Let's create a small roadside stop together. If it fails, we lose nothing. Most refused, some mocked, but a handful, those already tired of being tired, agreed. As Christmas approached, they cleaned a dusty open patch near the highway. They used scrap wood, old cloth, borrowed utensils. Aaron drew plans on the ground with a stick, his eyes glowing like a child arranging toys. On Christmas Eve, they lit a string of reused lights. Nothing fancy, but it was theirs. The first truck stopped late at night. Then another. By morning, people had sold more tea and food than they had in weeks. Aaron didn't take a single rupee. This isn't about money yet, he said. This is about proof. For the first time, the villagers didn't laugh. Chapter 3, Christmas Lessons Under Flickering Lights. Christmas Day arrived quietly, wrapped in fog and the smell of tea leaves. The small church bell rang, and even those who didn't pray stood respectfully. Something had shifted. The roadside stop buzzed with life. Aaron moved between people, helping, guiding, listening. He never acted like a leader, but everyone followed him. That evening, villagers gathered near the lights. Someone brought sweets. Someone else played music on an old radio. Children laughed, their voices sharper than the cold. Raghav approached Aaron, slower than usual. You didn't think small, he admitted. That's why this worked. Aaron smiled. Thinking big doesn't mean starting big, he said. It means seeing beyond today. He spoke to the group, not like a teacher, but like one of them. Poverty isn't just empty pockets, he said softly. It's empty thinking. The moment we believe we deserve nothing more, we get nothing more. Silence followed, not uncomfortable, thoughtful. That night, under flickering Christmas lights, the villagers learned something powerful. Hope grows faster when shared. Chapter 4, The Village That Began to Believe. In the weeks after Christmas, things changed steadily. More stalls opened. Women sold stitched goods. Young men repaired vehicles. Someone suggested saving together. Another spoke about sending children to better schools. The village that once complained now planned. Aaron refused to be called a hero. I just asked questions, he said. You answered them. His pockets were still mostly empty, but now they weren't afraid of emptiness anymore. One evening, his mother watched him explain ideas to a group of villagers. Her eyes filled with quiet pride. You thought big, she said later, even when we had nothing. Aaron replied, especially because we had nothing. Chapter 5, The Boy with Empty Pockets, The Village with Full Hearts. Years later, the outskirts no longer felt forgotten. The highway stop became permanent. The village earned a name on maps. And every Christmas, lights were hung, not just on stalls, but in hearts. Aaron never left. He didn't need to. Because the greatest lesson he taught was simple and lasting. You don't need full pockets to build a big future. You need a mind that refuses to stay small. And that is how a boy with empty pockets became the richest thinker the village ever knew.